I want today to speak about is wealth, because that is an even more glaring offense to the meritocratic ideal. There are 2,700 billionaires in the world. Their money comes not only from their income from work, but also through their ownership of capital, property, stocks, and the businesses that they own. I do think we can tax the rich further, especially in specific expenditures, such as supercars. And I asked the finance minister at some point again to consider a separate category of COEs for supercars costing over $1 million. The billionaires should compete amongst themselves so as not to allow the state to benefit from their preferences for luxury goods. The same goes for the tax on GCBs, maybe country club, transfer fees, and so on. After adjusting for government transfers and taxes, the Gini coefficient fell from 0.437 in 2021 to 0.378 in 2022, the second lowest on record. It is a sign that government transfers are a good way to reduce income inequalities. But the Gini coefficient includes only wage income. It does not take into account capital income, which is likely to be more uneven in distribution. I do not know what the wealth distribution is in Singapore, but the government may consider releasing some data so as to help public discussion. I'm not asking for a segregation of the super rich in terms of everyday life, merely in tax regimes as a matter of fairness. In order to keep us from fracturing along lines of inherited wealth, we must also level the playing field for those who are not unto the manner born. In health, education, and housing, as well as some elements of transport and financial planning, we must create a minimum standard of living for all Singaporeans. I'd like to suggest one radical idea. The top 40% of each cohort already have access to state resources in the form of higher education. The budget of our top 2 universities here run to billions of dollars a year, with high resources inside the classrooms, the best labs, professors, and outside, with overseas travel, mental health and wellness, and a close network of mentors. What about the rest of the other 60%? Can we think of some educational spending or resourcing for the 60%? Whether in terms of skills, continuous training, micro-credentials, or even the sort of non-academic opportunities that institutes of higher education afford to their students. This latter could include opportunities in the arts, in the sports, as well as access to community service and overseas exposure. Our Skills Future credit framework that we have is good, but I think it should be further institutionalized with additional resources targeted for this 60% group.